What's up, guys? Today I've got something kind of special. 1962 Buick Skylark, 2-year only car, factory V8, all aluminum block, factory 4-barrel. Been off the road for God knows how long. Today we're gonna see if we can't get it fired up. Check this thing out. Pretty much original under the hood. Looks like someone has updated it, got a replaced cap on it, a different coil on it. Still got dual horns on it. Got the power steering, the power brakes, power brake assemblies all sitting inside the car because you know that's where you want it. Looks like some of the engine is blue. Got the gold valve covers on it. Original valve covers by the stamping of the firing order on it. Hasn't had a carb on it in quite a while. You see some dirt and debris in there. Haven't even hardly cleaned off the intake from the field I pulled this thing out of. I did go ahead and drown everything in PB Blaster to help kind of get stuff working. Well, I didn't have any time to work on the car right away, so hopefully that set up enough time to help me, I guess. So anyway, I've already pulled out all the spark plugs. I did jump ahead a little bit of the cylinders with PB Blaster WD-40 in the last 8 hours or so while I was at work today. So what we're probably going to do first is start with popping off the valve covers because these are rocker shafts. All the rockers ride on the shafts in these heads. So we're gonna pull the valve covers off, lube all that stuff, make sure it's got plenty of lubricant on it. Then we'll jump down to the external oil pump that you can just make out down there. And we'll make sure the pump is primed. That way we actually have some oil pressure when hopefully this thing fires off for us. Start taking this valve cover off. Doing all this one-handed. Hey, wow, it looks brand new in there. Oh my god, that's fantastic. I don't even hardly see any sludge or buildup or anything in there. Wow. Let me take off the other side, see what that one looks like. Well, sure enough, won the lotto twice on both sides. Looks really good so far. One thing to note is I'm gonna have to delete on the old road draft tube, but it was between this steel tube and the heater box. Just about can't get the valve cover off, and this is not the best anyway, so probably gonna have to fix that. All right, underneath the car now, here's our oil filter, and way up there should be, I think there's 4 or 5 bolts around the perimeter that hold the oil pump cover on. So I'm gonna have to pull the filter off, get that cover off, and then we can prime the oil pump from the bottom anyway. All right, so you can kind of see we've got our oil pump all lubed up down there and re-greased with Moly engine grease or engine assembly lube. We're going to put this thing back together and I'll prime it from the top because this thing is full of oil and hopefully we should build some oil pressure. All right, back under the hood. You see we got the distributor pulled out. And then you can see down in there, you can see the groove for the oil pump drive. I don't have that tool because I don't have anything, didn't have anything that required such a tool. So what I'm going to do is something incredibly redneck. And I found this file in my toolbox and I got it chucked in the drill, so now we're going to use that. And now that we have the valve covers off, hopefully we'll be able to see if we are building any kind of oil pressure. We should see it come up the top. So here we go. So we're mostly focusing up here. You should see it build up around the tops of the valves. We're going to come up the push rods. They should come through the shaft and come out here on top. Ready? Well, it's not gushing, but it is a big leak. So we are building oil pressure. You can see it coming through the rocker shafts there. And keep going. Trying to not beat a bunch of stuff up if I can help it, but we've got some, so that's good. If I was smart, I'd probably shave the ends of the file down, but it's what I could find on short notice. That would probably do the job. put the distributor back in, and we will throw a battery in it, see if we get any spark. All right, got our distributor all put back in and cinched down. It's just loose enough that we can adjust it. Being wishful thinking there. I'm going to turn my attention to the battery cables, see about getting them cleaned up, and yeah, throw a battery in it, see if we can't burn this thing down. All right, threw the battery out of the LS Jeep in here temporarily. Got the negative terminal kind of scratched up, cleaned up a little bit. Positive, obviously running to the junction block over there. Vice grip would say probably the steel me junction. Just gonna, no issues there. No smoke or smell or anything like that, so I think we're good to continue. Let me grab a vice grip to attach that with, and yeah, see if we can turn it over at least. All right, got the keys, battery's still hooked up. I'm gonna throw the key in it, see if we can't at least roll this thing over with the key. Let's find out. Oh, the dome light's on. The electric fuel pump works. You should probably cut that before it tries to pump any fuel. Oh yeah. Cool. So that all works. Well, the car's fixing itself. Other dome light came on. Freaking rad. Okay, so all that appears to work. I'm going to pull the spark plugs back out of it. They're full of penetrating oil right now. I'm going to pull those out, run the key, make a horrible mess, and throw the plugs back in it, throw the carb on it, and see what happens here. Cool. Made about half the mess I was expecting. Oh, I can still see the top of the piston on that one. That one actually looks pretty clean too. All of them were moving up and down. Oh, let me check the oil pressure gauge, see if it works. That was over 20 pounds there. All right, guys, so we saw it working with the key. Looks like all the rockers are moving. We're getting oil pressure. There's actually an old gauge I'll show you in there. The old oil pressure gauge is reading 20 pounds. I quit it at that point. I don't want to drain the battery on the starter. So I'm going to give the spark plugs the old brake clean flush, throw them back in, throw the carb on it, and we should be just about ready. All right, it's the next day. I apologize because I didn't realize how crappily my Galaxy phone decides to record while the flash is on. So I apologize for that. So getting too dark and too cold to work out here so you guys could see, so moving on to the next day. So we didn't have spark last night. We did test it and anything there. So I have our points and condenser here, and that was kind of hard to see, but it is pretty corroded in there. Got some buildup. So I'm going to try to get those cleaned up before I throw a new set in here, and we're going to go from there. Did some testing. We only had like 4 volts going to the coil with the key on. So we've got our jumper wire here, our old battery cable hookup deal, just crudely crimped in there for now. You can see the coil wire down there on the intake, and when I spin the distributor, all sorts of spark. Oh yeah. So I'm going to get all this finished up here, wrapped up, and put the distributor back together, and then try to get the carb on. All right, as you saw, there was no carb on the engine when I bought the car. I actually borrowed this cheesy 2-barrel to 4-barrel adapter and carb from a buddy of mine, because I had no money for a carb after buying this thing. So we're going to give this a shot, and then I have a whole bag of tune-up parts, cap, rotor, plugs, wires from O'Reilly. They had all that crap in stock, so that was pretty sweet. But I'm going to see if we can't get it running just the way it is with what we've got here. So let's give it a shot. All right, park check. All right. Take one. Looks like it's holding about 32-ish pounds, maybe coming up a little bit, but like I say, engine's cold. So, not too bad. By the way, check out the sweet box these gauges came in. Pretty cool. That's custom. You can't even buy that. Obviously, the vacuum gauge isn't working. And I don't think that's working either. Coolant temp. That's alright. Hang in there with me. Here we go. Alright guys, there you have it. 1962 Buick Skylark, fired up again for the first time in who knows how long. And then as a bonus, we even kind of got it to drive. It didn't have any brakes, but had power steering, so that's something at least. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. That way you keep up with this car, because this car will definitely be back. Be sure to stick around for that, and we'll see you on the next one.